Hey guys, it's Mandy. Welcome back to my channel. Today I am so excited because I'm going to be reviewing the new Morphe 24G palette. So this is going to be launching January 16th, and I thought let's do a review on my channel so you guys can know if you want to purchase this or not once it is going to launch. We are pretty early with this review, I know. But as you guys know, a lot of the Morphe palettes do sell out during the first launch, so I thought this would be helpful. As most of you guys know, I am not a Morphe affiliate. I am not associated with them in any way. I do get PR from them, just like a ton of different people do. And trust me when I say I do not think they're the type of company who watches every single review and analyzes what people will say and throws them off of PR lists. I just haven't heard stories like that about them before. I'm going to be very honest in this video and give you guys all of the tea. Is this good? Is this bad? Should you go for it or not? Is it similar to the 3502? Because I know some of you guys haven't purchased that one and are waiting for a different palette launch. So before we jump into it, I just quickly have to say, make sure to subscribe to this channel if you haven't already and join the family. You guys honestly are the best family on the internet. Period. Hands down. Go look at my Twitter. Also, go make sure to watch my new Get Ready With Me video because you guys were just so incredible in that video. I know I spilled my heart out. I know I spilled my guts out. I know I spilled the tea on everything in the beauty community and how corporations work, how the money works, how just I gave you guys everything. I have no more secrets left, or do I? I'll keep you in suspense. So make sure to go watch that after this video or before, whatever you guys want. And with that said, let's jump right into it. Okay, so here is the box that I got in the mail right over here. This is what it looks like. So this is their PR package. And let me just open it. That's what the inside looks like. It comes with this card and it says, make it a double 24G Grand Glam eyeshadow palette. And there's that. And then let's get this out. So this is what you would be getting if you ordered it. Okay, so here we go. Here's the palette outside of the box. The box and the palette are the same. Let's try to fit this in. There you go. It's the same. It has this in it. It is all of their palettes now do. And then once you take that out, here are the actual eyeshadows. And these are 2.2 times the size of the normal hand size for the Morphe shadows. So you are getting a lot more in here. However, of course, there are less shadows in here. There's 24 compared to, let's say, the 35 palette. I will show you the other palette just so you guys can see the size comparison in just a second. But looking at this, you can see everything is a pretty standard kind of warm neutral. I don't mean standard in a bad way. I just mean it's very usable. It's very everyday, although you can still do creative looks. This pink does pop out at me as something more fun than you would see in a normal warm neutral palette. Okay, so here's the 35F. This is actually one of my favorite Morphe palettes. It's a really good one and it's so underrated. And here is the other one comparison. So as you can see, the top is much, much bigger. I wish I could just zoom out right now, but my camera's too far out. But yes, you're getting a lot more of each shadow. So it really comes down to preference. Do you like bigger pans or not? And I do really like the new packaging. It feels so much more luxurious than the old plastic Morphe packaging. I feel like the plastic is more durable just because it's plastic. However, this paper, cardboard packaging, whatever you want to call it, is still pretty durable and it's honestly stunning. I really like this color right here. Let me just see what it looks like. They've really gotten good at their shimmers. That is really pretty. And what else? What other shimmer shade? This orange one over here looks really pretty. Let's see what these look like. This is very spring. That pink is really calling out to me. I have no idea what look I'm gonna do. There's so many colors that I like, but I don't know, you guys. Maybe let's do like a pinky orange look. I like this red too. This is an orangey red, but I feel like maybe we're done with reds, right? The holidays passed. That's also pretty. I am a fan of creamier mattes, and sometimes some Morphe shadows, the mattes do tend to be a little bit drying, but let's see how this one works. So I'm gonna dip into this pink first. I'm not gonna pick up too much color. I feel like I have too much on my brush now. So I'll just tap it. Not much came out, that's pretty good. So there's not that much fallout. Now I'm gonna use this as a transition color right in my crease. That's going on really, really nicely. And as you can see, I was kind of tapping it on and blending it out instead of swirling it. And that's because when you swirl it, you apply a lot of pressure and it ends up tugging on your skin, and then you end up having really creasy eyelids. So try tapping it. That's what a lot of dermatologists and estheticians will tell you. This shadow works really well, so I feel like I didn't have to really try hard to blend it out. So I'm going to pick some more up. That's all you need. And then tap it off. Not much. Okay, and then just do that again. Just tap it in instead of blending harshly. Pick up some more of that pink with a smaller blending brush. This is a very old Smashbox brush, and I'm going to just pack in the color. I'm going to pick this one up. I think that pink was really, really pretty. So let's see if you can stack another matte on it. Tap it off. Again, not much fallout. And I'm going to pack this in a V. So we're just gonna go into a V shape. That looks pretty, but let's play around with a third matte. Let's try to make this darker and see. I have Aspen's hair on my lip just to see if we can blend out an even darker matte. So, should we do this one or maybe this one? Let's do this one. Tap, tap. Ooh, that one had more fallout. We're just gonna, again, make that edge darker. So these mattes are not very drying. I have to say I would reach for these. I am a fan. It diffuses out really well too, but if you are layering them, like for this third layer, it's kind of hard to control where you're putting it down because it just isn't being picked up perfectly on the lid, just because our lid is already so saturated with shadow. So this is kind of looking red to me a little bit. So I'm just gonna apply some pink on the edges. But it's kind of hard to keep the colors from not blending together. So clearly this eyeshadow look isn't wearable at all, but that's what happens when you try to test out too many colors. Okay, for the shimmers, I am using a flat Morphe brush. This is one of my favorites, the G20, and I sound like an affiliate, but I'm not. So I'm going to start off with this color right here, this pink color, because it is pretty. And we're just gonna put this, I picked up way too much. A little bit too aggressive there. We're gonna put this on the inner corner. I hope this doesn't turn out like a disaster. Yeah, these shimmers are very soft. So when you go in hard with a brush, it's gonna give you fallout. What I would recommend is just going in softly with your brush so it doesn't get a lot of flakes out of there, because with a softer shadow, you wanna gently pick some up instead of just ramming your brush in there, if you know what I mean. So this time I just went in gently with my finger. I just felt a flake falling on my face. It's very softly pressed. How about we put some of this orange down? It might look crazy, and then we'll do the red. Let's go in with the brush. You just have to be careful. See how I'm lightly patting it? Okay, so let's put this on. Okay, see? There's nothing now because I just picked it up gently. You can totally wet your brush to get more intensity of color, but I honestly don't like it to be that bold, especially if we're already so crazy with our eye look. Now let's pick up this darker red. And it is going on well over the 3 layers of matte color, so that's good. But there is a lot of fallout. So I'm gonna pick some up with my finger. And as you can see, the shimmers did give me a lot of fallout. So let me clean this up, do the other eye, and then I will compile my thoughts, especially while working on the other eye. I'll see if there's any discrepancies, or maybe I personally did something that made this happen. I just want to show you guys that there is no fallout if you go in very, very light-handed. This is so soft. You just need to tap very, very lightly. So barely pick some up, because otherwise you're just kind of disturbing the shadow. Do you guys see that? So there is no fallout at all on this eye, at all. So here's the other side, and as you can see, no fallout. Now I'm going to pick up this orange, well, it's like an orange brown, and put that on the bottom. You guys see that? It's on there perfectly. And you didn't need to go in like 3 times like I do with other shadows. Okay, so you guys are gonna think that I've literally lost it, and I feel like I actually have, because I washed off my face and redid the same look. I just wanted to make sure that what I was kind of concluding was in fact true, just because there was a discrepancy when I did this eye versus this eye, especially when it came to the metallic. So here are my final conclusions. Let's start off with the mattes. So for the mattes, I do like these mattes better than a lot of the other mattes in the previous Morphe palettes. Obviously, as I said before, and I've said so many times on my channel, the color of the shadow can change how it performs, even though the ingredients are basically the same. So take that with a grain of salt. But overall, I did notice that these mattes are a lot less drying, so they are more flattering on your eyelids. They don't give you any crinkling or wrinkling, and you can layer them on top of each other, and it also still doesn't give you any of that creasing and dryness look that sometimes inexpensive shadows give you. So I really, really love the mattes on here. If you are going to be layering mattes on top of each other, it does get a little bit difficult for the third layer. These are very thin mattes. They're not the thinnest mattes I've ever worked with. Kylie Cosmetics has the thinnest mattes out there, especially for her first palette, but these are on the thinner side. So with that in mind, just make sure that if you want to place the matte in one specific area, to start off with that matte color. Don't layer 3 colors on top of each other and then expect the matte to not diffuse out. When you have thinner matte shadows, and again, this is not the thinnest matte ever, it's a really good consistency in my opinion. But when you do have mattes that aren't really creamy and thick, like for instance, some of the mattes in the Pat McGrath palette, they do diffuse out easily and they blend out really, really easily. So that's this guy. It's going to diffuse out really easily and blend out very, very easily. So if you are not an expert when it comes to applying shadows, you're going to love this because it's going to give you a flawless diffused look very, very easily. However, again, if you are going to be layering these mattes and you want them to stay in one particular area, it's going to be hard on that third or fourth layer, maybe even the second, depending on your technique. If you guys want mattes that stay at the same area and don't diffuse out, try the Pat McGrath palettes. But for those, I have to tell you, the blending is a little bit harder because those are, I feel like, in my opinion at least, made for someone with a little bit more expertise in blending. So you have to work with it, and once you blend it out, it's stunning. But it is good for placing a shadow in one specific area and not having it move. You can still get that with these mattes, but just don't layer them. Do you know what I mean? I hope this all made sense because I'm being so detailed. Now let's move on to the shimmer shadows. But again, I have to say, I love these mattes. And if you want an easy look, these will achieve it for you. They blend out like a dream. Okay, shimmers. Shimmers are amazing. However, you have to be very, very careful and adjust your technique. These are very, very soft. So the first time you guys saw that it kind of got everywhere, I was going in with too hard of a hand. Does that make sense? But I needed to go in way more lightly. Then when I did the second dye, I went in a lot more lightly and it still gave me the same exact payoff, but it didn't give me any fallout or very, very minimal fallout. When I washed off my face and I did it again and used these shimmers again, same thing. I used a lighter hand with my brush, very, very light brush strokes into the pan. And again, very, very minimal fallout, if any. So as long as you use a light hand, you will absolutely love this formula. And honestly, a lot of people do prefer a very, very creamy, soft shimmer shadow. And I know a lot of us can't control just digging in there, but you are going to have to control yourself with this palette. And one more thing I want to emphasize, even though you have to go in there lightly, it still is going to give you a ton of color payoff. So don't worry. I'm not telling you to go in there softly and keep having to layer it. That's not the case at all. So I don't know what it is about this palette. It's hard to know. There's so many things that can change the performance of a shadow, how it's pressed, the ingredients, a million other things that we don't know of because we're not in the factory watching and analyzing. But I have to say, I do absolutely love these mattes. I feel like they are an improvement. The shimmers are amazing. Again, it comes down to preference if you do like this softer, creamier formula. Also, just for comparison purposes, here's the 3502 palette. So as you can see, there are some similarities. So maybe that's one reason you don't want to pick up the 24G. I would recommend that you guys get this again if you don't have anything too similar to it, or maybe you just really love warm neutrals and use them a ton. And as I said earlier in this video, I'm not a Morphe affiliate, but if you do want to buy this palette, definitely use Jackie Aina's code. It's edges. I'll put it down below in the description box and you can save some money on this or anything else you want to pick up. Anyways, thank you guys so much for watching. I hope this video was helpful. Definitely go watch my new Get Ready With Me video if you haven't yet. I'll link to that video at the end of this video and also down below in the description box. And that is it. I love you, fam. Bye.